Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and well, I guess we're here to do my top 10 worst films of 2019. Yeah, I knew this would happen. I knew this day would come, and man, do we have some horrible garbage. Just garbage. At number 10, starting this horrible shit fest of a list off, the Jacob's Ladder remake. I just watched the first original Jacob's Ladder not that long ago, almost to prepare for this movie, and I couldn't believe how original that movie was, how intense and how dark that film was. Seeing such a crap job, a rush job, it felt like. This movie seemed thrown together, seemed just bad editing, pacing was all over the place. It's just, why? Why do we not care? Why do we just take the name of a film that, sure, maybe more of a cult classic, but still it's recognizable? Why do you use that? Why do you abuse that? Why do you not cherish what some people might think of some of these films? Just to throw something together, and yet another lame remake on the long list now of lame remakes. Michael Ealy isn't that good of an actor. I'm sorry. There have been movies where I thought he was okay, maybe, but for the most part, he's flat. He's just not emotional, not believable, not buyable in these scenes where he's supposed to be. The twist ending was like, really? That's where you decided to go? This is bad. Just so bad. Number 9, Gemini Man. And you know what? I don't hate Gemini Man as much as I hated Jacob's Ladder. The only reason why Gemini Man is higher is because Gemini Man had a huge and wide theatrical release. That just sucks. It sucks because here's a movie with Will Smith, and this was a good premise if you think about it. I mean, you have the old Will Smith who is an aging sniper. He's still one of the best at his field, but he's getting older. So obviously the organization had a plan B. They decided to clone him, and now there's a younger Will Smith, and that's where we get the CGI de-aging. Look, if they could have pulled this off, then maybe it could have worked better. Because the idea of seeing 1990s Will Smith again is appealing, but then the script falls apart. Then you see that a lot of this plot just doesn't make any damn sense when you're talking about how they cloned Will Smith's character. They have this younger version of Will Smith, but don't they realize that the original Will Smith had to train his ass off to become a great sniper and a great mercenary, a great killer? You can't just clone him and then he inherently has these abilities already in his DNA. That's not how it works. You have to retrain him all over again. Wouldn't it just be cheaper and more practical to just get a new person and retrain them? What do you have to clone them for? It does not make any sense. It's very dumb. It's very forced. It's very convoluted. Clive Owen as the villain just was awkward to see. Didn't make a whole lot of sense. The more I think about it, the more I disliked it. Number 8, Dark Phoenix. Can you believe that after the horrible atrocity that was X-Men The Last Stand, they decided to do this again? And I know in some ways that makes sense, right? They did it bad the first time, so let's redo it, but do it good this time. The problem is that you have Simon Kinberg, the same writer from the last one, come in and write this again. If we're going to do this again, give it to new writers. Give it to somebody else who could be fresh and do this with brand new, fresh eyes. Why are we going to have the same person redo their same bad script, which a lot of this has a lot of similar aspects from The Last Stand, which was bad, like Professor X, hiding Jean Grey's second personality, and that's how she was affected. Mind you, in X-Men Apocalypse, the same person, Simon Kinberg, who has been producing all of these X-Men movies, the continuity is all over the place. They hint that Jean Grey has Phoenix powers at the end of that film. She uses the Phoenix powers, seemingly, to kill Apocalypse. This movie, I guess she doesn't have the Phoenix powers until the space attack, cosmic stuff that attacks her and brings it out. But didn't we already establish that she had it? This was just one movie ago, and you guys can't even keep track of that. Sophie Turner as Jean Grey was fine, but we didn't spend enough time with her Jean Grey to really feel invested, to really care that she had turned evil and turned against her friend. It didn't have the same weight. Cyclops, you didn't get as much of a connection with their relationship to really care about him feeling bad about losing his girlfriend and fighting so hard for her. And also, speaking of continuity, it's been 40 years since First Class. You had First Class take place in the 60s, and Dark Phoenix takes place in the 90s. No real reason for it to take place in the 90s, just other than just to say that it does. It felt dumb. You see these actors who have been playing the same characters, like James McAvoy, like Michael Fassbender. It's bullshit. Doesn't make any sense. Feel like an idiot thinking about it. Jennifer Lawrence has been checked out of this franchise like 3 movies ago. So what happens with her character could not have happened soon enough. Jessica Chastain, one of the greatest actresses around today. Usually when I see her in a film, she gives a great performance. What the fuck happened here? She's so monotone. She's so robotic. She's so nothing that it's almost more sad to see this actress be reduced to a cardboard cutout of a role. Number 7, Dora and the Lost City of Gold. This was a movie that nobody was looking for, nobody was asking for. When the trailer came out, I thought to myself, wow, are we really that low on IP, on anything that is recognizable, on anything that people just want to be desperate to find and try to say, hey, I recognize that, Dora the Explorer. But yet we're going to make Dora a high school girl. Isabella Moner as Dora, and it was weird because you had all these people, all these boys online talking about how hot Dora was, but yet she's supposed to be like 15 or 16. Her cousin Diego was a dick, just constantly being a dick to her because he thinks she's weird, because she acts weird, but you just kind of say, F you, Diego, F you. Michael Pena and Eva Longoria as the parents was just awkward, especially Michael Pena. There's so many scenes of him trying to be funny. Look, Michael Pena has moments in other movies being funny, but this just felt like, hey, nothing's going to be written down. You can just improvise and improv and say whatever the hell you want over the top of your head and just keep going and going and going. Some of his scenes go on for like 10, 15 minutes and you're not laughing. At least I wasn't laughing. Bad CGI, especially for the characters Boots and Swiper. I mean, holy crap! And the fact that we had Danny Trejo, Machete himself, and Benicio del Toro. I mean, why? Why did we get these actors to play these characters? Is it just because they're Spanish? Because, man, I would have thought they had better respect for the careers than that. Number 6, Terminator Dark Fate. Yeah, I know there were some defenders of this movie. I know there were some people who was like, oh no, it's actually really good. Oh no, give it a chance. Oh, if you don't like this movie, you're a sexist. No, fuck you. I don't like this movie because it sucks. It sucks. I hated the beginning where they killed off John Connor in the beginning. And I'm not a stickler for like, hey, you have to keep things the way that they are. You have to keep doing the same things over and over again because believe me, I was so bored of the Terminator franchise over how many times they just kept redoing Terminator 2 over and over again. Hell, I'll give Terminator Salvation credit for trying something different. But this was just killing his character off for the sake of doing it. It doesn't really play into the story of this had to happen for anything else to happen. You could have still had a new savior. You could have still had a new character. You didn't have to kill John Connor off. You didn't have to de-age the actor who played young John Connor from Terminator 2 just to kill him. It feels like you're shitting on something that the fans love. All of us as fans love the first two movies. And to do that is so disrespectful to us. I mean, I couldn't get into the movie after that. Even if you want to try to argue anything that might be in this film as far as message and as far as some of the characters, I just couldn't care less about anything going on. Even Linda Hamilton being back as Sarah Connor meant almost nothing to me because she just plays this old woman who failed at her mission essentially at saving her son, and at this point has what left. Why is she really here at the end of the day? Is it just because you got the actress to come back? Because that's how it felt the whole entire time. The Terminator having so much CGI to it. It's a robot, but it's also liquid metal. I'm just so sick of seeing that same effect, the liquid metal effect. They try to do it in different ways, but it's all essentially the same shit over and over again. Dani Ramos as the new savior. What a terrible actress. I mean, this is who we're banking the franchise on. This is who you killed John Connor for. Really? Somebody who couldn't act for us to care about and buy her being the savior? Yeah, nice try. Mackenzie Davis as the new Terminator / human protector, I thought was fine. Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back was probably the best part of the movie, but everything else was pretty lazy. Number 5, Aladdin. Talk about an unnecessary, unneeded, unwanted live action remake. Disney loves to do their live action remakes, and we're probably getting many more to come. Yippee. But this just felt really forced. I know it made over $1 billion. That's insane to me. I for sure thought this was going to bomb. I didn't think this movie looked good just from the trailers alone, from the clips alone. The music is so god awful. The changing of the music. The rap, Will Smith as the genie, rapping over this stuff. It was just so cringy, so hard to listen to, so hard to watch. Will Smith has not had good luck very much at all this year, has he? Yeah, him as the genie, the effect of him being blue, and then him on top of a muscular, almost bodybuilder-like body, just looked very awkward. And obviously, Will Smith cannot be better than Robin Williams. Sure, he wasn't trying to be that, but still, it's just when you have such greatness, when you have such a great version of the genie with Robin Williams, it's almost not worth doing the movie at all because you can't do it better. Sure, you got your $1 billion, Disney. Look, at the end of the day, there's a reason why Mena Massoud can't get an audition after this movie. There's a reason why this Jafar is one of the worst villains, worst live-action portrayals of a villain I think I've ever seen. He's so not scary. He's so not threatening. He has the softest voice. And Naomi Scott, yes, she's very attractive as Jasmine. I like the actress fine. But that weird solo song scene that she has is so uncomfortable, so awkward to watch. Man, this was brutal. Number 4, The Fanatic. Woohoo! The Fanatic. Directed by Fred Durst. Yes, that Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit. I can't believe this movie got greenlit. I can't believe this movie was given a budget. I can't believe this movie was made. Like, we're talking about John Travolta, who seems like somebody told him, maybe his agent told him that, hey, you're going to get an Oscar for this, man. You're going to get at least a nomination. People are going to see this movie and be wowed by you, so give it your all. Because, damn, I kind of feel bad for Travolta. He does give a pretty decent performance. He does give a layered performance, but even with that, it was in the wrong hands. His character's made to look more dumb and stupid than anything else. So moments you might feel bad for him, but there's other moments where you're almost laughing at all the dumb stuff, the horrible stuff that happens to him. He's this obsessed fan of this actor played by Devon Sawa. And when was the last time you've seen Devon Sawa in something? This was so weird. This was so, especially the ending, the dark turn that this ending takes, and then even during the credits, the epilogue as far as what happens to these characters. I don't know what the point of any of this was. Why did we make this movie? Why did I watch this movie? God damn. Number 3, What Men Want. Taraji P. Henson, I'm so sick of you doing these god-awful films she has horrible taste, horrible script reading abilities, or she has a horrible agent. She's constantly in these bad films over and over again. This is a remake, a female version remake of that Mel Gibson movie, but this is just, she's an unlikable person, an unlikable character. You don't buy the way that she gets these powers at all. Tracy Morgan is in this movie, and all of the posters and promotions, you would think that he's probably a love interest, right? No, hell no. No way Taraji P. Henson is letting Tracy Morgan be her love interest, so obviously it's another black guy. But this film just kept going on with these lame jokes and this overly cliched plot that you knew where it was going every second of the way, that I just couldn't finish it. I turned it off, and I never cared to go back. Number 2, Replicas. This was directed by this guy, Jeffrey Nachmanoff. And I mentioned his name in particular because he directed this film called Traitor. And I'm not saying that that's the greatest film in the world, but it's definitely a lot more competent, a lot more watchable, and a lot more interesting than this garbage. How did this happen? Here's a film where Keanu Reeves, horribly miscast, does not fit this scientist role that he's playing at all. His family, his wife and kids die in a car crash. They drown. He gets desperate. He does this experiment that sort of clones and brings them back from the dead. And so he has his family back, but then over time, things start going weird. They start acting different. He has to come up with different excuses with trying to explain it. And that's where I thought, look, this is a decent enough premise to where if it goes somewhere, if it is dark, if it is interesting, if it has something to say as far as people and are they real clones and can you be happy living with something that you did like this? I mean, that's ideas that we could have done something with. That's ideas that could have and should have been played up. But no, this story turns goofy and dumb real fast. I mean, I cannot begin to describe how bad this gets, especially when Keanu Reeves' character himself puts his consciousness into a robot, and then we're off to the races. And then the CGI for this robot is so awful, so hard to watch. But for my number 1 worst movie of the year, this is a very recent addition, but I feel very confident in adding it. Yes, I'm talking about Cats! Cats! Can you believe this movie got made? I'm still scratching my head. I'm still trying to make sense of how this movie happened. I mean, I know the play is popular. I know some people love it. I know some people say it's their favorite. But what the fuck? What is the story about? This story is shit. We're talking about cats who get to pick one cat to, kill? And then resurrect into this weird cult like ceremony that apparently they want to do. And the cast is so, like, do we have really bad secrets about these actors? I'm talking about Idris Elba, I'm talking about Ian McKellen, I'm talking about Judi Dench, Jennifer Hudson, Taylor Swift. She's there. I'm not really shocked that she's in a shit movie like this. James Corden doing his same usual shtick. Same thing with Rebel Wilson, the horrible stuff. The music is really hard to listen to and just not fun or funny like they think it is. But even though I stopped watching this, I mean, I could only get barely an hour into it, and that's how I know that it deserves to be on that worst of list. I looked up what the hell else happens with the rest of this movie, and it seems like I tuned out at the right time because it seemed to have gotten even worse. Man, this I don't understand some of the Idris Elba stuff and his cat having powers and being able to teleport, and then all these other characters and all these cats and them walking around like humans, but they're the life size of cats, and then there's other life size humans in this, and this is the biggest, dumbest, weirdest acid trip that anybody will ever take. I'm telling you, watching this movie is worse than doing drugs, any type of drug that makes you do some dumb shit. Wow. wow, wow. I got through this list, but man, I am angry. Man, I am furious. Man, I am fucked up. Honestly. Full of rage. This year, in a lot of ways, was great, but in other ways, sucked. So, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of my list for the worst films of 2019? Do you agree with some of them? Do you disagree? Am I missing anything? Or do you think, yeah, that pretty much covers it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.